So let me thank all of you for being here. I also will recognize that when he mentioned the gaming piece about doing it by age, some of the others in the audience who might be gamers just didn't admit it at that moment, and so we all are a bit fascinated by all of that technology. I was reflecting, sort of being around here for a long time, and knowing Wayne Van Tersch and having had an opportunity to know some of the people who actually built the computer over the computer center for the first time. And when I became associate provost, in my windowsill was this piece of the first computer to remind me that times change and you must change with them. And the power of change, the technology, the way in which now, I'm sure after we have this ribbon cutting, we're already now believing that this is too small. It's 90% full.
We'll talk about budget next week.
We're problems we can't solve. We have to have it faster, and it has to do all of these kinds of things. And that really is the most incredible part of watching this journey over a period of time. And the clock dilemma, to use that phrase, has been used by consulting firms that now faces us all. Because things will naturally speed up as the capacities become more affordable and the power becomes exponentially greater. And what's the really neat thing about this room and the people you represent is that some of you believed in this and came to Michigan State when this wasn't here. And I thank you enormously for that trust and that belief. Others of you came because you really believed that this was going to be reality, and you could see ICER, you could see the purchase orders, you could see things evolving. And there'll be people who will join you around the table as the year, 2 years, 3 years goes on, who came because it can do what it does, with the hope and promise that it will simply do more and will continue to grow and develop. And that really is why I wanted to stop by and say thanks to all of you for the vision. This is a collective vision, for the trust that you've had to be able to imagine. And for those of you who have thought about these problem sets, they are things that are fixed today in broad domains. And there'll be many other domains added over time. As faculty come, as they find different kinds of problems and opportunities, and as you open your doors to them. And the neat thing about ICER, about the way this has all evolved, by the list of partners, some of it is by sweat equity, some of it is by cash. But it was designed that way to be sure that the door was wide open. And the capacity, the design, the power wasn't simply limited to a few, but could be applied very generally across disciplines, professions. And we could do that in a collaborative and interdisciplinary way, so we could take full advantage of the synergies and not have some of the other kinds of structures where there's one here and one over there, and you do this work over here and you do this work over there, and nothing really informs the other. And the real power will come in those intersections, not simply in exploring each of the areas in new and different ways. So I want to thank you all for in closing, embracing the messiness of that. It has its moments where sometimes the languages of science, the languages of discovery aren't the same language, and it requires a translator. Sometimes out of that comes a new language, a new way of thinking, that's then adopted and becomes the norm for our graduate students when they become the next generation of faculty. And that's part of the value of the messiness. It takes special people with special passion to see the power of that. And that really is the aspect of Spartan will that permits all of us to invest in you and hopefully to open up greater opportunities for all of you. So thanks very much.